Hey backpackers, this is Juan from Juan Backpacks. Today we're going to be doing another first look. This time we're going to be taking a first look at the ThermoWorks Thermodrop digital temperature gauge or digital thermometer. It's a pretty cool little piece of equipment that I saw online. I think it was on an advertisement someplace, and I wanted to give it a shot. It looked like it had some features that I really would like. As opposed to my old thermometer that I use. So let's kind of go through the normal stuff that we do when we do a first look here. Basically, I'm going to talk about some of the features. As I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that I wanted to include it in my backpacking kit, or maybe replace a piece of equipment that I'm swapping out for it. This isn't going to be a total review. Basically, I haven't spent enough time with this in the field. As a matter of fact, no time with this in the field yet. Once I get to the point where I've had enough trips with it, I've used it in the field enough, then I'll come back and do a full review of my impressions of how it performed in the field. So let's first talk about some of the features, and as I said, we're going to jump into some of the reasons that I wanted to give this a shot in my backpacking kit. Well, number one, if you look at my old thermometer here, this is the one that I did have on my backpack, and I put it on a small D-ring on the strap of my backpack. Both of my backpacks have a very, very tiny D-ring, and these basically using that ring hook to that D-ring pretty easily. So this is what I'm replacing. This was about 0.2 ounces, 0.3 ounces. So this is only, the Thermodrop is only 0.5 ounces. So it really wasn't a significant change in terms of weight. And I think I'm going to get some additional features out of this that I really like that I'm going to talk about now. Number one is the large display. You can see here it's really easy to see the temperature. The cool thing about the display as well is it flips. It will kind of flip as you flip this upside down. Watch. That flips the numbers right side up. Let me check it. Yeah, right there. We go here, flips the numbers right side up. The cool thing about that is many times when I was walking along with this and I would flip it up like that, it's hard to read the numbers upside down. Plus it's hard to read the mercury or whatever they use now in these thermometers. And it was really hard to see the numbers. And so this has large numbers, and again, they write themselves. So when it's hanging on my strap here, I can literally flip it upside down, boom, and I can see the temperature clearly in big, digital numbers. So that's one of the things I really liked about it, and one of the reasons I wanted to switch. The other thing is it's backlit. You can see the little black button there above the display. Basically, you can press that one time and the light comes on. And it's backlit. So if there's low light conditions, and it'll go off in a couple seconds. If it's low light conditions, you're in your tent at night, you want to check the temperature because you're feeling cold, you're just curious how cold it is outside, what the real temp is, that's something that you can do, is use the backlight. The other thing that you want to do, you can do with this thermometer, is that it will track the high temp and the low temp. It continually keeps track of the high temp and the low temp. And so let's say you went through a night and you just wanted to kind of see what the low was that past night. Basically what I do is that little black button again, 1001, 1002, 1003, and it'll start flashing the high. Well, it's not flashing yet. Let's take a look here. 1001, 1002, 1003, there it goes. It's flashing. The high was 86 so for today, and then that's inside. And then I hit it again, and it shows me what the low was that it measured today. So this will continually keep track of that until you reset it. How do we reset it? Well, you turn it off. And I'm not going to do that, but you basically will hold this black button down for 5 seconds, and it'll just shut down the display, shut down the thermometer, and then you hit it again one time, it turns it back on, and everything resets. So let's say I was up, I got up in the morning, I just wanted to, out of curiosity, know what the low was last night. I hit it, I look at the high, look at the low, and then basically I can reset it for the next day and figure out what the high during the day was while I was backpacking and what the low was at night. And those are just really good things, I think, to mention, because when you're tracking temperature like that, what I find is I know where the kind of limitations of my gear are. And then, so I'll say, man, it was 35 last night and I really wasn't comfortable sleeping. It might encourage me the next time, if I know I'm going to have those temperatures, to change up my gear a little bit for the next time out. That's why I like measuring or keeping track of the high and low temperatures. It just helps me understand my gear, what the limitations of my gear are. So that's a really good use for a thermometer like this. Now, it does come in a variety, or it does, before we get into colors, we'll talk about the battery. It's not rechargeable. It runs on about a nickel size kind of a watch battery, I guess, something like that, those flat disc batteries. And so it runs on that. I don't know what the battery life is like. I don't know what the what the cold will do to this. Now, I do know this: the temperature range that it will measure is very high. It's like 100 some degrees at the top end, and it's negative something at the bottom end. So that tells me that this will probably be good in a variety of temperatures that you would normally encounter while you're backpacking, and that weather won't be an issue. It will also withstand water as well, like rain and so forth. It's got a rating that would allow it to do that. I don't think the rating will allow it to be completely submerged, but splash protected, rain protected, I think you would be fine there. So that's another thing that I liked about this. Even though it's an electronic piece of gear, it runs on batteries, it still is okay in the rain, it seems. The colors that this comes in, it's a variety of colors. I think they're like around 10 or 12 colors. I didn't count them all up on the website when I ordered it, but it comes in a variety of colors. I chose this really light green color because when you buy this particular color, they'll actually plant a tree for every one of these they sell in this particular color. So I did that. Obviously, being a backpacker, outdoorsman, I'm definitely interested in the environment. So if somebody's gonna plant a tree, if I buy a certain color, I'm gonna buy that color, right? So that's the Thermoworks Thermodrop. On their website right now, as I'm making this video, it's $22, so it's a bit pricey. You know, this particular thermometer I used is maybe like $6, something like that. So it's definitely lower priced, but it's harder to read, and it doesn't track real easily those things I want to know. I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night, see what the low temperature was, right? This, I just hang it outside my tent and then check it in the morning. I'm good to go. So I see a lot of advantages, as I said, when I went through the features of the digital thermometer. I think it's got a lot of features on here that are going to be useful for the backpacker, and so I'm really excited about getting this out in the field. My next backpacking trip is planned in Pennsylvania on a trail for about, I think, 2 nights, 3 days on one of the trails in central Pennsylvania, and I'm definitely going to be taking that out with me in March, and hopefully I'll be able to give you a more in-depth review, an actual review of the product after I have that trip, maybe a couple other trips under my belt. So that is the Thermoworks Thermodrop. I'll put a link down below to it. If you have this Thermodrop already and you have experience with it and you want to say something about it, your experience with this particular product or this piece of gear, definitely post it down below. I'd love to hear what folks are saying about it that have had it for a while. I've seen a number of reviews of it on the internet, basically just going over features, nothing really like in-depth where people have used it. So it'd be cool to have some of that usage data, that usage feedback from all you. So go ahead and post below if you have some experience with this. Like I said, in the future, I'll definitely be coming back around, circling back around to do a review of the Thermodrop. So until next time, backpackers, get out there and do some backpacking, do some hiking, and enjoy the outdoors. I will see you on the next video.